Who can remind the class what it means to perform a rotation? Saul?
Turn.
It's like a turn, right? And so when I'm looking at my cards, I want to first of all make sure that I'm choosing the same shape.
7th grade is really different than 6th and 8th. In 6th grade, I feel like they're still trying to learn like how to share, and you're dealing with kind of those things. And then in 8th grade, they're ready to go off to high school. But 7th grade is that year where there's so much growth that's happening just with them personally. They're trying to find their identity, and so you're really kind of supporting that side of them in addition to also trying to teach them math.
What is the difference between a 7th grader at the end of the school year when you say goodbye versus at the beginning of the school year when they first come to you?
They're a lot taller, I can tell you that much. I swear 7th grade is like the year that everybody grows. But you can definitely tell that just maturity-wise, they've done a lot of growth over that time. They enter us coming from 6th grade where they just learned how to even be at a middle school. And then by the time they're ready to go on to 8th grade, they're already got their eyes set on the high school. So just in terms of maturity, they are very different by the time they leave us.
We can see where that triangle is going to land. We just want to make sure we move it 90 degrees counterclockwise.
Why did you become a teacher?
7th grade, I had a social studies teacher that really inspired me. And I just remember thinking, I want to be exactly like her. I loved how she connected with the kids. I loved the projects that she came up with and her energy. And I just thought, that's what I want to do. And so that stuck with me. And then when I got to high school, we fortunately had a class that was called Introduction to Teaching. And so I got to kind of try it out a little bit before going off to college. And I realized that, yeah, that was going to be the good fit.
What's the biggest thing that's changed for the better about teaching math, say from when you were sitting in a 7th grade classroom to the time now where you are at the front of a 7th grade classroom?
So I would say back when I was in school, it was a lot of, I'm gonna sit here, I just have a spiral notebook and I take notes and listen to my teacher talk for an hour. And then they assign me 40 problems for homework and I have to sit there and do the same process over and over and over again. That is so far from what math classrooms look like at this point. I've kind of tried to remind myself that if I'm doing the majority of the talking, and if I feel like I'm doing more work than my students are during a classroom, then I'm doing it wrong. They're supposed to be the ones that are collaborating together and talking and sharing their ideas, and I'm just kind of facilitating those conversations.
In our society, it seems acceptable to say, I'm not very good at math. But yet, it's not socially acceptable to say, I'm not very good at reading. I would have to think that concerns a math teacher.
Like with any skill, some individuals are going to require more time, more supports, but it's doable. And so it's really hard as a teacher, especially a math teacher, to hear from your own parents, to hear from your colleagues, to hear from, random people on the street that I'm not good at math. And then in turn, your students hear those same messages and they internalize it. Math isn't like this magical thing that only the elites can do. It's something that we are all capable of doing, and we do math all day, or do math, I should say. We do this all day without even realizing it. Every time you're problem solving or you're working through something, like you are using the same skills that you would utilize in a math classroom.